Now you can listen to Radio Cayman everywhere.
Everywhere.
Can you hear me now? Everywhere. Everywhere.
Yes, right from your Android or iPhone. Download the Radio Cayman app now on your Android or iOS phone.
The Radio Cayman app
is where you can listen to Radio Cayman everywhere you go.
Everywhere we go, we go. Everywhere we go, we go.
Find it in the Google Store, the Apple Store, or use the link at www.radiocayman.gov.ky.
Yes, now you can listen to Radio Cayman everywhere.
For the Record is brought to you by Vamped Motors, the only authorized Ford and Toyota dealership serving the Cayman Islands. Coca-Cola, available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga distributors. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury. West Bay Pharmacy, taking care of your health. And JN Money.
From abroad to yard.
Fast, affordable, convenient. Doctor's Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctor's Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066.
This is For the Record with Ort Connor.
Coming to you live from Radio Cayman Studio.
For the record.
For the record. For the record. Hear from your government officials, independents, and the opposition on issues that matter to you. For the record. Engage in an open dialogue between residents and lawmakers.
For the record.
For the record. For the record. Informative, impartial, insightful.
This is your talk show.
1-800-534-8255. Your calls, your input. This is For the Record. And now, your host, Ort Connor.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. O land of soft, fresh breezes and verdant trees so fair. Today is Monday, the 18th day of July 2022, right here in the beautiful Cayman Islands. We hope and we trust that everyone had a restful, peaceful, enjoyable weekend. Those of you who are on the roads of the Cayman Islands, whether you're a cyclist or a pedestrian, or if you're operating any type of motorized vehicle, we urge you to please be extremely cautious. Ensure that you observe the rules of the road. Hopefully you know and are familiar with the rules of the road. If not, then you need to familiarize yourself with them, because rules are designed to maintain control of situations, to have an orderly, for things to operate in an orderly fashion. When you ignore the rules, when you break the rules, then there is nothing but mayhem, confusion, havoc, and including in that also injuries and ultimately deaths. So if you're out there on the roads, please be extremely cautious. Observe the rules of the road, know the rules of the road, because the life you save may just be your own. For those of you who are celebrating a birthday today, we want to wish you a happy birthday, or if you celebrated one over the past few days, a belated happy birthday to you. Those of you who have lost loved ones, we want to express our sincere condolences to you. We hope and we trust that your faith will help to carry you through these extremely challenging times, and that the memories of your loved ones will be a blessing to you as well. Those of you who are ill and are either at home or at a medical facility here in the Cayman Islands or overseas, we wish you a speedy recovery as well. So I will also want to remind you that this segment of For the Record is also the birthday shout out, and it is proudly brought to you by life insurance agents Michael Webster and Randa Lawson from Cayman Insurance Center. And they want to remind you that you are not to take chances with your family's future. So some of the persons that we know, who we know are celebrating a birthday today, We have Marcelo Rich celebrating a birthday today. Leon Solomon celebrating a birthday today. Arthur Seymour celebrating a birthday as well. Val Kajel, I believe that's the way that's pronounced, also celebrating a birthday. Siobhan Hides celebrating a birthday as well. Those are some. Of course, all of those persons celebrating a birthday today, they are in very excellent company as well, because on this date, the one and only Nelson Mandela was born today as well. So you're all in good company as far as being born on this date. Some other celebrities who are celebrating a birthday today. Also, we have Vin Diesel celebrating a birthday today. Kristen Bell celebrating a birthday today. Actor James Brown turns 81 today also. Businessman Richard Branson, he turns 71 today as well. Margot, what else do we have here? Margot Martin Dale, I believe also. Yep, she turns 70 today. Actress Elizabeth McGovern turns 60 today. I told you about Van Diesel before. He's only 54. What else do we have here? Finding some more for you. Actress Kristen Bell turns 41 today. And, of course, if you know someone who's celebrating a birthday today, then you can call in or send us a WhatsApp message, and we will give you those details in a few minutes. So, folks, I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman and, by extension, For the Record, into your homes, into your vehicles, as you traverse the busy roads of the Cayman Islands, into your places of work, wherever that may be. As you know, For the Record is a show produced by the staff and the management of Radio Cayman, and it is geared towards keeping you abreast of issues as they arise and play out on the local, regional, and international scene. I'm your host, Art Connor, and you're welcome to join me every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 7:30 a.m. until 10 a.m. During that period, our phone lines are open. Radio voice of Silver Fox, Mr. Paul Akal, waiting to take your calls. You can call us on our toll-free number provided courtesy of Flo. That toll-free number, 1-800-534-8255. You can also call us on 949-8037 and 949-6990. Email us at fortherecord, one word, fortherecord, at candw.ky. WhatsApp us, 925-3261, where you can send us a text message or leave us a voice note, the contents of which will be played during the course of the show. And, of course, you can follow us on YouTube simply by subscribing to Radio Cayman live stream. We don't have any guests in the studio at this point in time, but after the 8 o'clock news, we will have representatives from the Family Resource Center talking about parenting programs and services, in particular, those programs that are centered around the summertime and summer parenting as well. We will have in the studio with us Miss Charmaine Miller, who is the clinical supervisor at the Family Resource Center, and also Miss Amber Calm, who is a parent facilitator at the Family Resource Center as well. So they will be in the studio with us after the 8 o'clock news. I believe we do have a caller. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
I just wanted to wish Ivan Farrington a birthday. He's 88 years old yesterday.
The devil himself.
The devil himself.
Yes, I had the pleasure of seeing him a few weeks ago at Sir Vassal Johnson Hall as well. And of course, he was his usual jovial self and always has a joke to tell you.
Yes. And Marlena Anglin, she has a birthday today.
Marlena Anglin as well. Okay, great. And thanks for sharing those with us as well. And please give Mr. Ivan my regard.
I sure will. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Have a great day and please stay safe.
Bye-bye.
Okay, we have another caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, OC. It's Arden. How are you?
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good, OC. OC, I'm just calling to express public sympathies to the family of the late Isla Conley.
Yes.
Most people in this country will know that David and I were childhood friends, and we remain friends throughout our lives. But, it is... what I believe needs to be said is that this country tends to forget history, and you know what they talk about, what they say about forgetting history. You're bound to repeat it.
Yes.
What most don't know about Isla Conley is that while I think she may have retired 40 years ago, because she is right around 100 now.
Mm-hmm.
And people tend to forget what other people's contribution has been to our country. I mean, when she was there she started out teaching Kimmerbrook, then to East End, then Chief Education Officer, and all like the early childhood programs and people getting to university and all that kind of stuff. The change of our education system to the comprehensive system. She was right there with Benson amongst that. And those were significant contributions, but we forget it. We tend to forget it, and we never record history very well in this country. And we can lower flags for things like ex-governors. I didn't hear of them lowering any flag for Isla Conley, and it's a worthwhile contribution, to the development of this country. It saddens me that these things are not recognized, but nevertheless, she made a significant contribution to this country. I mean, she was the first person in my life when I was leaving high school. David at that time was at Barbados finishing up one part of law, and then he went over to England, Lincoln's Inn. Remember that we didn't have a law school then.
Yes. I think he and Dr. Macfield were over there at the same time.
That is correct. And she called me to her office and impressed upon me that I should go and do law with David. And I told her, I said, well, we call her teacher. I said, teacher, I don't want to do that. I want to become a marine engineer. I want to rise further than anyone my family has done in that field. So I left right after that to go to sea. And by the time I got back, David was here, and he spent his 5 years. You remember those days that you had to spend 5 years in government?
Yes.
You were bonded.
Yes. Yeah.
And he spent 5 years in government, bonded, and teachers still tried making me go do law, and I didn't. I was better with my hands.
Yeah.
You know?
Mr. McLean, I'm going to interrupt you for a second because I want to give you more time to talk about this, and I have a few questions for you in terms of, East End and whether or not you have any suggestions as to what the people of East End should do to have some permanent memorial for Miss Isley. What we're going to do is we're going to take a commercial break. I'm going to ask you to stay on the line, or if you want to hang up and call back, we will take you right away. But I want to continue this conversation with you right up until the 8 o'clock news, if you could hold on.
I will.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Folks, please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
The Cayman Islands boasts of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Historical Vignette Series, brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. The Cayman Islands, He hath founded it upon the seas.
Following emancipation, not only did the population of unsettled districts see a population increase, but so too did the Bay Islands of Honduras, which saw the immigration of hundreds of Caymanians. The Bay Islands offered much in the way of economic opportunities, with fertile, uncultivated lands, prime fishing and turtling, as well as trade opportunities with the local population. As is the case with most immigration initiatives, not all was picture perfect, and Caymanian migrants faced hostilities with the Black Caribs as well as the Honduran Spaniards, along with facing tropical disease, racial conflict, and not to mention having to combat foreign mosquitoes.
Since 1993, Rotary Central has worked diligently each year to provide quality bus shelters to our community. A traveling convenience to our school children, the elderly, young people going to work, guest workers, and visitors using the public bus. We, Rotary Central, help you, our advertisers, make it happen. Your marketing dollar travels a far way. Positioning your message, your product, your services, your presence in over 83 bus shelters. Every dollar you spend, every advert you place helps to build another bus shelter, providing modest comfort for Cayman travelers. Reserve space now on the only billboard medium in the Cayman Islands. Email rotaryshelters@gmail.com. rotaryshelters@gmail.com. The Bus Shelters, a partner in community convenience. Another inspiration program by Rotary Central Cayman Islands.
Radio Cayman's Historical Vignettes was brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
At Doctor's Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctor's Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
We think it's time you crossed over to a new vehicle. And with the Toyota Corolla Cross now at Vamped Motors, you have plenty of reasons to make the switch. The crossover body and hybrid engine is a sleek design in a sturdy structure with a spacious interior that opens to extensive cargo space. Stuck in traffic? The high-performance self-charging hybrid system automatically switches between gas and electric vehicle mode, helping you lower both fuel costs and carbon emissions. The Corolla Cross has full LED lighting inside and out, an integrated display audio system with energy monitor, and a dual-zone climate control system to ensure comfort for all. Test drive the new Toyota Corolla Cross Hybrid today at Vamped Motors, Walkers Road.
JN Money touchdown. Send the money now. Reach wow. You say you need some money. JN Money, I can send it in a hurry. Get through quick when you come collect your cash, or use a money card and swipe it in a flash. Send funds to any bank, yeah. Pay your bills quick, yeah. Low fees, you know what it, yeah. JN Money, we a pick, yeah. Send and receive funds at any JN Money location. It's fast, affordable, and convenient. Money touchdown with JN Money. Send funds to any bank? Yeah. Pay your bills quick? Yeah. Low fees, you know what it? Yeah. JN Money, we are pick? Yeah.
Call 345-945-2014 for details. Available at JN Money locations across the Cayman Islands.
Make your house into a home. Welcome to Brand Source Home Gallery, your source for premium products and a premium experience. We'll design and install your dream kitchen with crafted cabinets, complemented with elegant appliances. We'll fill it with quality houseware and cookware. Custom-designed closet and storage solutions organize and beautify any area. And with the finest bedding, you'll get a perfect night's sleep knowing Brand Source Home Gallery has everything you need to make your house a home.
Hi, I'm life insurance agent Michael Webster.
And I am Randy Lawson from Cayman Insurance Center.
Proud sponsors of the birthday shoutouts on For the Record.
Whether you're another year older or just a year wiser,
making sure your family is protected is a pretty wise choice. I'm Michael Webster at 925-5433.
And I am Randy Lawson at 322-2145. Give us a call today to find out how you can better secure your family's future.
Cayman Insurance Center, protecting you and your family so you can take back your future.
System 1 loaded.
1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the Record.
This is For the Record with Ort Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We're going to join former minister, former member of Parliament, Mr. Arden McLean, talking about the life of Miss Isley Connolly. Mr. McLean, thanks for holding on.
Not a problem, OC. Yeah, OC, you did mention I thought as to what East End should be doing to remember Isley Connolly.
Mm-hmm.
I do know that the hall at the high school was
right.
But I mean, the school East End is just named East End Primary School. I don't know if it's appropriate, but to name two things, but there are two different districts they're in, and I believe that would be quite a gesture in her honor, because while there are other people who were there too, but remember now, she rose to the top as the chief education officer.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And it should not just be a hall, It should be an entire institution that carries her name. I mean, that's my view, But, I mean, you got to remember, she taught at the all-age school in East End, remember when I don't know if you remember, but it was in the town hall where all the kids were in there, no petitions, nothing.
Right.
And then she went to the education department as chief education officer.
Mm-hmm. 1970.
And stayed there a very long time. And I went to high school in 1969. She was also instrumental in the building of the East End School. And then, remember, we had a split system in this country, education. We had secondary modern, we had high school. Then you had to take a common entrance exam to go to high school.
Right.
And only 40 kids could go to high school, the top 40, because everybody took that exam. I was, fortunate to be in that 40. And I went to high school in 1969. And by 1970-71, she and Benson thought it was so discriminatory to separate the kids, i.e. high school and secondary modern, where the Georgetown primary school is now, that they brought in a new system, a comprehensive system, which meant everybody went to high school. at high school age.
Right.
So from 1977 to 1, I somewhere in the 71 area, everybody went straight to high school once they left primary school.
Mm-hmm.
And there was only one high school. Well, we had Triple C, but there was only one high school, and that government high school, that is, and it was Georgetown. Where the John Gray High School is now.
Precisely.
And these are the things that many will not know, because a whole generation has come along. The reason I remember Teacher Isla's age is because she born the same year my mother did, 1923, So I practically grew up in Isla, Teacher Isla and Mr. Warren's house, in that every summer David went to Knox. She sacrificed and sent David to Knox. And every summer he came home, or see, he sent us older than we will recall. Every day they had to send a search party out for David and I. We were fishing. And at night you would see these torches coming looking for us, and we were on the reef cooking or cleaning fish or something, And the next morning we were back at it again. So I am intimately knowledgeable of this woman and her contribution to this country, What was exciting about Isla was that her husband, Warren Conley, was in the government of the day that was the most controversial, like that government of 72 to 76 that built Glass House, they built the courthouse, they built the legislative assembly that we're celebrating now, and they also built the dock. Okay. And remember, they lost the election
as a result. Yes, yeah. We have about 1 minute left, before we have to go to our 8 o'clock news.
And through all that controversy, being married to a politician, whether we call him controversial or not, you never heard Isla Conley name out on the streets with any scandal.
Yes, as far as the politics were concerned, that's true. Yes.
Right. As far as that politics was concerned, somehow she escaped it, and Warren left her out, or the kids felt like to leave her out, whichever it was, or she left herself out. But she never got herself in that, and her contribution was valued at that time. And I hope it continues to be valued throughout our lifetime in this country. Thank you very much, O.C. One day I'm coming on.
Yeah. We need to get you on here to talk about the electricity rates and everything else. No one more knowledgeable about it than you are. And, of course, we still have I shouldn't say some callers, one particular caller, and you know about that, who keeps stressing about possible conflict of interest between a minister who formerly worked for that company and being involved. And of course, I tried to explain to that caller exactly what the situation is. But and you don't need anyone to defend you. You can always defend yourself. So
that is correct. And they may curse me. And remember when my government, the government that I was a part of, negotiated that thing, the opposition went at me badly, but shortly thereafter, when they went in power, they wanted to use the same formula that we put on CUC at that time, and to calculate their rates. And what the public does not know is that David was chairman at the time, who's my friend. I just said that, and they claim that I was the toughest person ever.
Okay.
And the irony of it was that Warren was a part of the negotiating at the beginning of it.
Gotta go now. Gotta go.
All right, O.C.
Thank you very much, folks. Top of the hour, 8 o'clock news. When we return, we will be talking about parenting program, and in particular, the summer program by the Family Resource Center, and of course, the knowledgeable and person, Miss Charmaine Miller, will be in the studio as well. Folks, please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back immediately after the 8 o'clock news.
Radio Cayman time check is now 8 a.m. This time check is brought to you by our friends at Foster's.
So it's your turn to cook tonight. What are we having?
Well, we have chicken thighs, pork chop, sirloin steak, ground chicken, or beef stir fry.
Wow, so many options.
Yeah, I got them from the Foster's Pick 5 selection. You can choose any 5 specially marked packs for $19.99. The meat is always fresh and never previously frozen. It's the perfect way to stock up for the week.
So all of this only costs $19.99?
It sure did.
Pick 5 is available in the meat department at all Foster's supermarket locations. Foster's, better value because we care.
The voice of the Cayman Islands.
89.9 FM in Grand Cayman and 93.9 FM in Cayman Brac and Little Cayman.
Silver wings shining in the sunlight.
Radio Cayman.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com.
For today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
With your latest news, I'm Carsley Fuller. The National Roads Authority discusses selling land in West Bay to a resident. According to a summary of minutes from their most recent meeting, the directors considered the possible purchase of a, quote, slither of land to determine whether or not it was appropriate for that land to be sold. The area in question is just off Powell-Smith Drive and under the Roads Act as a footpath. The proposed buyer pitched the purchase under the previous board of directors, but it was denied. A recent site visit showed that the area was overgrown and not actually being used as a footpath, and this was part of the reason behind the proposed purchase, as the buyer says the unkept path is a, quote, liability, as it presents a, quote, threat from persons who may be occupying the area. If the property can't be sold, the potential buyer is asking that it be regularly maintained by the NRA for safety purposes. Ultimately, the board resolved to defer the matter until it has, quote, sufficient information to make a determination in the public's interest. You can find the full meeting minutes on at CaymanRoads.com. Big acts perform at Camana Bay's Festival Green on Saturday for the summer music show Capella. Radio Cayman's Shanda Gallego was there.
From pop to reggae, attendees at this year's Capella Festival experienced a full-day immersion of music. It was the first time for 3-time Grammy Award winner Wyclef Jean, who performed his greatest hits. During and after his performance, he spent some time in the crowd, greeting festival goers and taking pictures. It was the first time also for UK pop star Charlie XCX in Cayman. She performed her hits and moved the crowd with her dance moves and costume changes. The 2022 festival also saw returning artist, Grammy Award-winning singer and songwriter Michael Bolton, who graced the stage with familiar tunes and duets. With his full band, the high-energy crowd welcomed legendary Beres Hammond to the stage. He captivated the audience with jams of old and new. Capella 2022 festival goers also enjoyed the sounds of local bands and DJs throughout the day, including Rico Rolando, Sheena Lee, Impulse Band, and sponsored Capella artist Erica Sai. I spoke with a few attendees who said they enjoyed the festival, which was last staged almost 5 years ago. Some said they miss events like this. One attendee said it was Wyclef Jean hanging out with the crowd for me. Others have said this is what Cayman needed for a very long time. Shanda Gallego, Radio Cayman News.
And a quick heads up for folks who are planning on getting their kids vaccinated today. CIGTV's Donna Bush reports.
The childhood vaccination clinic location has changed from the ARC at Camana Bay to the Family Life Center that's just off Walker's Road. The time remains the same from 5 to 7 p.m. Now, to look at the new schedule, you're encouraged to go online to the Health Services Authority's website, hsa.ky.
Now with a check of international news, here's the BBC, which will take us out of the newscast. I'm Carsley Fuller from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
BBC News with Debbie Russ. Scientists say almost half the territory of the European Union and Britain is at risk of drought as parts of Western Europe suffer a severe heat wave. Researchers at the European Commission say crops are subject to water and heat stress, and there's an impact on hydroelectric power generation. Britain's chief meteorologist has warned that the heat wave is consistent with climate change. The Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has suspended the head of the security service and the prosecutor general while an investigation takes place into alleged treason that favoured Russia in their departments. Officials have clarified that the two had not been sacked as originally reported. Ukraine's Southern Command says 2 Russian missiles have hit a military target outside the southern port of Odessa, and another has struck a bridge across the Dniester estuary. A 4th was shot down over the Black Sea. Officials say there are no casualties. Sri Lanka's acting president, Ranil Wickremesinghe, says negotiations with the International Monetary Fund over an emergency bailout are nearing conclusion. There have been growing calls for the lender to be more mindful of the scale of the economic crisis. The Tanzanian government says a previously unknown disease that was reported in the south of the country has now been identified as Leptospirosis. The bacterial disease is transmitted from animals to humans. South Korea's Foreign Minister Park Jin is in Japan for talks aimed at improving ties. It's the first such trip in 4 years. He's expected to raise the issue of compensation for Koreans forced to work as labourers for Second World War Japanese firms. BBC News.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com. Did you know that ValueMed Pharmacy has a free online prescription service? Managing your health and medical requirements has never been easier with ValueMed. Simply visit value-medpharmacy.com. That's VALU-medpharmacy.com and click the Refill Prescriptions tab on our website. Fill in the information for new prescriptions or refills and choose your preferred pickup location. ValueMed on Walkers Road or Town. Then bring in your original prescription from your doctor when picking up. There's no need to stand in line and wait for your prescription. Save time and pick up prescriptions at your convenience by visiting value-medpharmacy.com. That's VALU-medpharmacy.com.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman for the latest in news and information.
Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, www.radiocayman.gov.ky.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
The following is a special announcement from the Cayman Islands Civil Service Association. The Grand Cayman 6A member backpack distribution takes place July 18th through 29th at the 6A office above number 1 shoe shop on Hospital Road Plaza. Backpacks are limited and on first come, first served basis. Members should bring identification to speed up the collection process. If you are collecting bags on behalf of another member, please bring a written signed note from that member with a copy of their ID. The Grand Cayman 6A member backpack distribution, July 18th through the 29th. The Cayman backpack distribution will take place on Thursday, August 4th.
Healthcare Pharmacy, caring about your health for the past 25 years. Radio Cayman's premier health show.
Alzheimer's and dementia, are they the same disorder?
Yeah, I think that's a very important question.
For the Health of It with Tara Bush.
For the Health of It with Tara Bush.
Is heard on Saturdays at 9:30 a.m. and on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Brought to you by Healthcare Pharmacy in Grand Harbor, where they care about your health. Transfer and refill your prescription online. Visit healthcarepharmacy.com. or call 947-8900. Healthcare Pharmacy, now with a new and second location in Governor's Square. The new Healthcare Pharmacy in Governor's Square is open Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Saturday, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Healthcare Pharmacy, where they care about your health.
Commission for Standards in Public Life reminds all persons subject to the Standards in Public Life Act that declarations are due by 30th of July. If you're struggling to complete your annual declarations of interest, the Commission for Standards in Public Life has a new tutorial video available to provide further guidance. Visit Standards in Public Life Commission.ky/register of interest to view the tutorial video today.
The 8:12 a.m. weather report brought to you by CG Britcay, where people come first.
Good morning, everyone. Hello? Hello? Oh, sorry, I was on mute. Okay, I see we have just about everyone, and of course Tom drops off, as per usual. Let's just wait a minute here. He always comes right back, and we're almost ready, and... oh, whoever's dog that is, please go on mute. Why won't it let me share my screen? Okay, looks like we're ready to start.
We're like a video conference with no technical issues. CG Britcay. Good like that.
Good morning, Cayman. 10 minutes after 8 o'clock, let's take a look at your weather compliments of our friends at CG Brit K. Present temperature 84 degrees Fahrenheit. So mostly cloudy on the outside, but it feels like about 94 degrees Fahrenheit. Winds are out of the east at 8 miles per hour with gusts up to 10. And of course, the barometric pressure is at 29.97 and holding. Isolated showers are expected this morning as a tropical wave moves across the Cayman area. A decrease in cloudiness and chances of showers are expected from this afternoon as the wave moves west of our area. So our forecast for today calls for cloudy skies with a 40% chance of morning showers. A decrease in cloudiness and showers is expected by this afternoon. Temperatures will rise to the upper 80s. Winds will be east to northeast at 10 to 15 knots. Seas will be slight to moderate, wave heights of 2 to 4 feet. Then tonight, mainly fair skies with a 20% chance of showers. Temperatures will fall to the upper 70s. Winds will be east to northeast at 10 to 15 knots. Seas will be slight to moderate with wave heights of 2 to 4 feet. We're presently in a low tide. High tide will be at 2 o'clock this afternoon, and it's going to be low at 8:04 tonight. For tomorrow, high tide is at 2:03 a.m., low at 8:54 a.m., high at 3:38 p.m., and low at 9:42 p.m. Sunset this evening is at 7:05. Sunrise for Tuesday morning will be at 5:58. And the outlook is for an increase in cloudiness and showers from Tuesday as another tropical wave approaches the Cayman area. And that, my friends, is your latest weather right here on Radio Cayman.
The 8:12 a.m. weather report brought to you by CG Brit K, where people come first.
Good morning, everyone. Hello? Hello? Oh, sorry, I was on mute. Okay, I see we have just about everyone, and of course, Tom drops off, as per usual. Let's just wait a minute here. He always comes right back, and we're almost ready, and... oh, whoever's dog that is, please go on mute. Why won't it let me share my screen? Okay, looks like we're ready to start.
We're like a video conference with no technical issues. CG Brit K. Good like that.
During these unprecedented times, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Cayman Strong Series. The Cayman Strong Series is brought to you by Encourse Cayman. Visit encourse.ky to view a full list of wellness services and their qualified team. Encourse Cayman, health, wellness, and happiness.
Achieving your goals is a very rewarding feeling, but at times can feel very frustrating, especially if and when we miss our target. As you approach your goals in life, set yourself up for success.
When setting your goals, keep it positive. The human brain does not work very well in the negative. If told not to think about pink elephants, most people's brains go straight to a pink elephant. When setting goals, focus on what you're going to do rather than what you are not going to do. For example, instead of saying to yourself not to go on Facebook, say to yourself that you will study more.
Change your thinking and change your life.
During these unprecedented times, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Cayman Strong Series. The Cayman Strong Series is brought to you by Encourse Cayman. Visit encourse.ky to view a full list of wellness services and their qualified team. Encourse Cayman, health, wellness, and happiness.
These days, feelings of loneliness, anxiety, stress, and depression can be overwhelming. Just know you are not alone. Encourse Cayman offers private mental health services for children, teens, adults, and groups. Visit encourse.ky to view a full list of wellness services and their qualified team. Encourse Cayman, health, wellness, and happiness.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
All right, my friends, morning. How's movements going with you as you try to make your way into Georgetown or out of the Georgetown area? Similar with our friends in Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. Very minimal traffic out that way, but of course, we got some traffic movements here in Grand Cayman. Looking at Eastern Avenue, a bit of traffic flowing into the Shedden Road area, but the northward bound lane flowing smoothly. And of course, light traffic along the Godfrey Nixon Way. Edward Street looking good with some light traffic heading north towards 4th Street and then onto the Seafarers Way. And of course, Shedden Road, very light traffic there as well with some pedestrian and bicycle movements. But of course, coming out of the east-west arterial, traffic flowing smoothly. Looking out at King Sports Center, a bit of congestion along the Linford Pearson and similar along Crew Road. Looking out from Hosey's gas station, got some traffic as you turn towards the north and continuing on to Shedden Road. Heading towards the airport, very light traffic in that area. And of course, West Bay Road looking quite good with traffic flowing smoothly into the Georgetown area. And of course, looking at the Butterfield roundabout, busy at the moment as always, with traffic heading on to the Esteli Tibbetts Highway moving smoothly. And of course, a bit of traffic coming off the Esteli Tibbetts as well. This is expected at the time of the morning, and you'll make it in to work reasonable time this morning with some slight delays, of course. Those of you who left early this morning and into work already, grabbing yourself some breakfast, good for you. Of course, those of you heading in, remember you can always stop at a Subway nearest you to grab something great to eat.
You see how hard it's raining?
Yeah, and I don't have time to fight traffic and get my lunch from Subway. I have so much work to do.
Why don't you order Subway by using the Let's Eat or Bento app? Save time, stay dry, and get your sandwich fast.
I never thought of that. Great idea. I'm going to order now.
Order me a veggie pizza while you're at it.
And a cookie platter for the office. Too busy at work or home? Is the rainy weather stopping you from dining out? Order your favorite Subway sandwich, wrap, or pizza through the Let's Eat or Bento app with fast and reliable delivery. Subway, eat fresh.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
Whether it's routine care or highly complex surgery, when it comes to your health, you want the best. Health City has Cayman's most comprehensive range of in-house medical services. Recognized for quality and excellence, Health City brings together expert doctors, the best technology, and the latest techniques to understand your health and ensure you get the care you need. From Camana Bay to East End, you can trust the team at Health City. Health City, world-class healthcare within your reach.
We asked 100 people what they would do with a little extra time. Top answers included hang with friends, sleep, volunteer, walking on the beach, watch TV. But the odd thing is, no one said, stand in line to pay my bill. Funny that. Now Logic introduces Logic My Account. Pay online, view bill history, schedule automatic payments, and more. Go to logic.ky/my account and pay online, not stand in line. Logic My Account. Go on. Give yourself a little extra time. Bake a cake, browse the web, yoga, spring clean.
In recognition of the 50th anniversary of the Cayman Islands Parliament Building, the community is invited to a special celebration on Thursday, the 21st of July, from 6 to 8 p.m. The 2-hour program will include speeches, live performances, and Cayman-inspired cuisine, including kunk stew and refreshments. Join your family, friends, neighbors, and countrymen and women in celebration of this historic tribute to the iconic building that gave the Cayman Islands its first permanent home for the legislator. The 50th anniversary of the Cayman Islands Parliament Building, Thursday, July 21st, from 6 to 8 p.m., 33 4th Street in Georgetown.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matter. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. It is my pleasure to have in the studio with me now Miss Charmaine Miller, who's the clinical supervisor at the Family Resource Center, and Miss Amber Calm, who's a parent facilitator at the Family Resource Center. And of course, the Family Resource Center is a very important and integral part of the development of the Cayman Islands and providing services and support to families and individuals as well. The Family Resource Center is dedicated to providing a wide range of services and programs to promote and support healthy family relationships. The Family Resource Center provides a wide range of free services, free, folks, free, and programs to equip families with tools and strategies to parent confidently. The Family Resource Center offers short-term, long-term, and comprehensive programs that cater to the needs of families and individuals. Amongst the programs and services offered include Stop Now and Plan, known by the acronym SNAP, Young Parent Services, Co-Parenting, One Heart, Two Homes, Positive Disciplines Workshops, Parenting Ages and Stages, and of course the Teen Toolbox Workshop. So I'm just reading that, but these two young ladies in the studio, they will go into in-depth detail explaining exactly what the Family Resource does as well, because they have the hands-on experience as well. So ladies, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning. Thank you for
having us.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah, it's really good to be back here again. We are really excited because we're ready to roll out our next phase of programming, which will begin in August. And so it's really good timing for us to talk a little bit more about what we do and how families can access our services. So at the core of everything that we do at the Family Resource Center is parenting. Right. And so very much so within the community, we're oftentimes referred to as FRC, which is just, an acronym for Family Resource Center. All the work that we do is free. We are a government agency and we fall under the Department of Counseling Services. So we are very privileged to be in that position, and that being the only government agency that focuses a lot on parenting intervention and support. And the way in which we do that, it varies depending on client needs, right? So it could be within a group setting, or it could be done one-on-one depending on your individual parenting goals. The format of it resembles somewhat counseling, where you would meet with either myself or someone like Amber, a parenting practitioner, to support you, to help guide you in whatever parenting struggles you're having. So that could be with children as young as 4, 5-year-olds, who may be presenting with some behavioral issues already, and it's starting to become a red flag somewhat. It's not your typical toddler tantrum behaviors, but it's somewhat concerning because you're having problems with managing that behavior. So that could be done in an individual setting. It can also be done in a group setting. I personally really enjoy running groups. There's a lot of power in group and in recognizing that I'm not the only one struggling with parenting, right? Because oftentimes everybody else wants to tell you how to parent your child, right? But if you're able to recognize that, hey, there's this family next to me, or a couple of us in a group, guess what? Johnny's not the only one that has those issues. There are other children that are presenting in the same way, and there are other parents that are also struggling. So there's that empathic kind of like safe environment that could really allow for you to have some self-compassion while still recognizing, well, how can I do better? Because right now the strategies that I have at home are not working fully. So what can I learn differently so that I can better equip my child? And at the end of the day, whenever we talk about the work that we do, it's about strengthening that relationship, at home with your child in order for them to comply and in order for everyone to feel happy.
Excellent. Ms. Amber, you want to add to that?
Sure. I think a lot of the services we provide are so important. And what I always tell my clients is you have a toolbox already, but it never hurts to add tools to the toolbox. So at the Family Resource Center, we have a ton of programs and skills sessions where we, encourage parents to add to their toolbox. Can't hurt.
Yeah,
ever.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And what has been the response, from a clientele standpoint?
The response has been really positive, just in line with our government sort of like strategic goals and our value system. Customer service is really important for us, right? And so at the end of our work with clients, we always do an evaluation form in which generally we have extremely positive feedback on client experience. Generally, it's this sense of safety, non-judgment, feeling empowered as opposed to feeling criticized or disempowered and whatnot. So the feedback is always positive. And what we find is when clients access our services, whether it's individualized or in a group setting, they come back for additional support, right? So it could be something where maybe I don't have to come every week to do parenting work, but now I can actually sit down on, and listen to a webinar. Right, listen to a webinar that's led by one of our staff members. Those happen at least once a month. So it's a way in which we can phase out services, because at the end of the day, what we want to recognize is we are giving you the tools for you to go and do life. It's not this codependency that we're trying to create at all. So it's really just a matter of, and similar to what Amber said, let's give you the tools, go try them out. If they're not working for you, let's see what else we could do differently.
Okay, well, one of our listeners, and we're already getting persons who are curious about this, and they wanted to know whether or not these services are exclusively for persons who are clients of any government agency, or whether or not it is open to the public.
Good question. Sure. Yeah. No, that's a really good question. And I think something that we really pride ourselves as an agency is that more than likely about 75% of our clients are coming in on their own will. Right? So they're not necessarily clients that are being referred by the courts or the Department of Children and Family Services. These are clients that have themselves, or persons, let's just call them persons, that themselves have recognized that, hey, I'm having a tough time right now and I need some support. And I guess going back to your original question around feedback, if you're able to come at your own will, you're recognizing that there's an issue. And so your motivation level is greater and your commitment level is greater, right? So to answer the question, anyone can access services. It is not restricted to families that are, in services already with other human and social service agencies. It's really open to everyone. And that is generally what you'll see.
Okay. And what we may want to do at this point in time is to tell them where you're located and how they can be, how you can be contacted as well.
Yes, we are located at Apollo House West on Mary Street. It's on the second floor, so it's above the building, above the floor of work where the new work office is. And we're on the second floor, so if you are interested in accessing our services or just learning more and want to chat with one of our staff members, we're always available. You can give us a call at 949-0006 or email us at frc@gov.ky.
Excellent. Okay, I think we can go on and talk about some of the things that are happening during the summer and how we approach summer activities and summer issues.
Yeah. So as Charmaine mentioned, we have webinars once a month, usually to the last Tuesday of each month. So most recently I hosted a webinar on avoiding the summer slide, and that can be accessed on our website or also on our Facebook. So that just speaks about avoiding learning loss with children. So what is it that parents can do to encourage their children to learn over the summer? Because once they're out of school, it's just like if you are playing the violin. If you don't practice, you might lose the skill, right? So it's the same thing with learning loss. And research shows that children can lose from 1 to 2 months worth of academic learning that they've learned over the last year, right? So some of the ways they can do that is, continue to read. Parents can model that with their children. It could be something as simple as when you're dropping them to the daycare in the morning, having a book in the car and taking 15 minutes out and reading with them, right? Or it could be just implementing that in everyday life. If it's something that you need written, or if you're baking, have your child read the recipe to you or have them write the grocery list. Simple things like that is how we can encourage our children to learn over the summer, right? And then we're in an era where technology is heavily relied on. I think every child has an iPad or they have access to an iPad or a smartphone nowadays. So utilizing that technology, and it could be an audio book. We don't always have to sit down and read, but we might not have access to books or books that our children are interested in. So utilizing the audio books, looking on apps, there's a ton of free apps, and also accessing our local library. I think that's a resource that we kind of forget about a lot of the time. So those are just some of the ways we can encourage that learning over the summer.
Okay. We're going to take a commercial break. When we return, I want to keep talking along those lines and discuss a little bit about, we know we're still in a COVID situation, but we also see because of inflation, the price of everything rising. Some families may have the financial wherewithal to take a summer vacation and take their children off to, one of the huge amusement parks in the U.S. or whatever. Others may not have that opportunity to do that. And what would you advise and encourage people who are not in that category where they can afford that, how to make it a nice summer for their children right here on the islands as well. Folks, please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
At Doctor's Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctor's Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice-cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
We think it's time you crossed over to a new vehicle. And with the Toyota Corolla Cross, now at Vamped Motors, you have plenty of reasons to make the switch. The crossover body and hybrid engine is a sleek design in a sturdy structure with a spacious interior that opens to extensive cargo space. Stuck in traffic? The high-performance self-charging hybrid system automatically switches between gas and electric vehicle mode, helping you lower both fuel costs and carbon emissions. The Corolla Cross has full LED lighting inside and out, an integrated display audio system with energy monitor, and a dual-zone climate control system to ensure comfort for all. Test drive the new Toyota Corolla Cross Hybrid today at Vamped Motors, Walkers Road.
At Kirk's Home Center, we can make your life much better. We got it all together. We got a great deal in store for you. From cookware to stereos, from power tools to plumbing supplies. Yeah, we got the best goods with the best price and a service to make you smile. Kirk's Home Center, we got a great deal in store for you.
System 1 loaded. 1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the Record.
This is For the Record with Ort Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We're talking with representatives from the Family Resource Center, in the person of Ms. Charmaine Miller and Ms. Amber Calm, and talking about parenting programs and services that are offered by the Family Resource Center, and in particular, talking about the summer programs that they have. And you heard Ms. Charmaine earlier talk about the month of August and why the month of August is so special as well. And before I throw the mic back over to them, we just want to wish a happy birthday to Miss Pamela Rocket, from all of her children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren as well. Miss Pamela Rocket celebrating her birthday today. And while I you don't like to call names of children because, if you call one, then you miss out on the others, and they feel. But, Miss Evelyn Rocket is a prominent person and well known, and she's the daughter of Miss Pam Rocket as well. So we're going to talk about resources, financial resources, those who have, those who don't have, maybe even those who think they have, and those are probably the ones who run up their credit cards, not realizing that the money that they're spending is actually money that they have to pay back at the end of the day as well. And how do we meet some of those challenges for those persons who find themselves in a difficult financial situation?
Mm-hmm. So you posed a very important and realistic question before we took a break, and that's, speaking on those families who don't have the opportunity to travel this summer. So I think when it comes to encouraging children learning over the summer, we have to get very creative with engaging them. And one thing I spoke about in my last family skills session, avoiding the summer slide, is taking virtual trips. And that's something that maybe a lot of people haven't thought about. But say, for instance, you can take one day and have it themed for a certain country. So just as an example, you could have it themed for France. And say that day you might have French-inspired food. You might have croissants.
Fries.
French fries, just as an example. And then you can perhaps, look up famous landmarks, the Eiffel Tower, have your children read up on it and come back and tell you about it. You can go onto Google Maps and actually take, a walk around France, look at some things, read up on the Louvre, just as an example. And then maybe an activity. We know that mimes are, quite known in France, and so you can perhaps have your children read up on, where did that practice come from? Have them imitate it, and that's just an idea, of taking a virtual trip and encouraging learning and encouraging our children to be exposed to, the outside world and other countries and what they do, right? So that's just one example over the summer. And one other thing we want to encourage is also, setting a routine and setting out some realistic expectations for our kids. Because I think it's really easy for kids to say, oh, I don't have any school. Well, I'm just going to play video games and whatnot the whole summer. So just setting out some time and saying, okay, hey, you're able to do this, but as long as you're also doing some schoolwork. So you can say a realistic expectation, your child can read between 10 and 15 minutes per day during the hours of 11 to 12, just as an example. Because we know research shows that children thrive when they have some form of routine. And it doesn't have to be a hard set in stone routine, but some sort of routine where you set out expectations, right? Anything to add, Jeremy?
Okay. Well, I'll have a question to add to that as well, which is for those parents who unfortunately may lose some control and may be a little bit more liberal in allowing the child to stay up later, to focus more on the devices, the games and stuff. How do you get them to refocus now before school begins? To get them back into that routine again?
No, that's a really good question. I think, I know a lot of the messaging that I got from my school, my boys' teachers when school was over was pretty much, it's summertime. Let the kids have a good time. Let them relax. They've gone through a lot of learning, a lot of studying. So this is time to decompress, right? So that's really important. But at the end of the day, they also have to get back to school in August, right? So we try to promote a lot of phased in approaches, right? So Amber's idea of creating a routine, very, very important. Routines minimize behavioral problems. When children know what to expect initially, it might be a little bit troublesome. They might have a tough time getting used to that routine, but as soon as they know that you're not budging and you're being consistent with your routine, they're going to fall right into place with it, right? So parenting tip number 1 for any parent, be consistent with what you want to do.
Okay.
Be consistent with your routine and try to not create routines that you would have a tough time following yourself, right? Create some flexibility in your routine. And so even if it's morning routine, I'm going to have 4 items on that routine. And that is in the morning time, you don't get iPad or screen time doesn't start until 10 o'clock. It doesn't start until you get to do your chores, you walk the dogs, you do all these different things, right? And so creating some structure in everyone's life is going to be really important. When it comes to bedtime, there needs to be structure too. Yes, during the summer, let's allow the kids to stay up a little bit later. fair enough, bedtime is not going to be 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock because they don't have to wake up to go to camp. I know parents are struggling. I myself, when it comes to camp right now, it's ridiculous. The prices are ridiculous for camps, right? So your average family might not even be able to afford the camps that are right now. You're talking about $500 a week for a camp, right? And then you're kind of like wondering, who are they catering to? I don't understand because it's so expensive.
What does it have to do with the price of fuel?
What does it have to do with that? What are we bringing in? But I think for parents, there's a really good resource right now on Cayman Parent Magazine, and they have a virtual a website too. So go online and check out. There's some good camps. I think our MPs have done a really good job at putting out camps that are affordable. Some of them are actually free. They might not be your full day camp, but it's something to give your kids some time off of the screen, right? And so if you're pushing back bedtime to 9 o'clock, 9:30, do so. That's fine, right? But try to encourage maybe the 30 minutes before bedtime to not be screen time based. Because what happens then is that you're going to have more trouble, more behavioral issues with getting kids off of the screen, and their brains are still like awake, right? There's a lot of screens that have come towards them, and so it's really important to try to get 30 minutes before screen time, playtime, whatever you want to be, or downtime as opposed to screen time, right? When it August hits or 2 weeks before school actually opens up again, you want to now move back that bedtime to what it originally was. So it could be phased in, right? If bedtime during summertime was 9:30, they're going to bed maybe the second week of August, they're starting to go to bed at 9 o'clock. By 1 week before school opens up, they're going to bed at 8:30. And so you do it in a phased approach, and you're justifying too, right? It's not this thing of mommy or daddy or being mean or grandma. It's we're going to get ready for school because we need to make sure that we've gotten enough sleep so that the following day we feel rested, right? So to answer your question, it's all about phasing it in, right?
Okay. So I want you to describe the summer slide, what that is all about, and how do we deal with the summer slide and overcome it?
Yeah. So as previously said, the summer slide is just learning loss experienced over summer. And some of the tips you can parents can implement at home is, just keep reading. Don't police what your children are reading. I think over the summer, it's just important that they're practicing their reading skills. So, whether, they've now shown an interest in dinosaurs or a new book series, utilize that and try to find reading material surrounded, to that topic. You can also consider maybe book swaps. You have neighbors or, even in summer camp, you might want to send your child with a book and they might meet somebody who is interested and is also bringing a book. Then also making screens work for you. There's websites, there's free apps. I made reference to this in my summer slide webinar that's found on our website. So parents can go onto that and they can see a list of recommended material. And, practice writing. As I said, every day we have to write down something. Encourage your child to write for you. Or you can encourage them to write a story with you, or maybe they want to write a letter to a family member. Those are some things that are reasonable. They're affordable. You can do this. And I think that's pretty much the key points. But of course, I do elaborate on it quite a bit more on our website. So we can always direct parents to go to that and just check out some of the the skill sessions that we have on there.
And of course, the summertime is probably the period where parents spend more time with their children than they normally would. It's usually with the teachers that they spend more time, but now it's that role has now shifted over to either parents or caretakers as well, right?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Most definitely. And I think because we're spending so much time with our kids and we still have to balance all other walks of life, work, socializing, relationships. I think that's why it's very important for us to set out structure when it comes to our kids, establishing a routine and setting out those realistic goals for our children over the summer. And when we say realistic, if you know for a fact your child, they were just completely disinterested in doing schoolwork last summer, you have to be very realistic with your approach. You can't expect your child is going to now read 8 books and they didn't read books last summer, right? So, just setting a collaborative collaboratively setting out those goals with your child and saying, okay, how about you're interested in dinosaurs? Let's buy your dinosaur book and let's set it as a goal that you will finish this book within the next 2 weeks, right? And then also encouraging that reading with your child, modeling the reading. So you may take some time in the evening and say, okay, 30 minutes before bed, we're not going to be using screens. Let's me and you read this book together, right? So it's just being very realistic about your approach.
Okay. I know both of you ladies are going to be with us until 9 o'clock. We're going to take a commercial break. When we return, there are some very important dates and upcoming parenting programs that are going to take place as well. So we want to talk about those, folks. Absolutely. Don't change that dial. Please stay tuned. The conversation with Miss Charmaine and Miss Amber will continue after this short commercial break. So please stay tuned.
Money touchdown. Send the money now. Reach wow. You say you need some money. JN Money, I can send it in a hurry. Get through quick when you come collect your cash, or use your money card and swipe it in a flash. Send funds to any bank, yeah. Pay your bills quick, yeah. Low fees, you know what it, yeah. JN Money, we are pick, yeah. Send and receive funds at any JN Money location. It's fast, affordable, and convenient. Money touchdown with JN Money. Send funds to any bank, yeah. Pay your bills quick, yeah. Low fees, you know what it, yeah. JN Money, we are pick, yeah.
Call 345-945-2014 for details. Available at JN Money locations across the Cayman Islands.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
Unleash the leadership potential of employees and managers through the globally acclaimed Ken Blanchard series, now offered at the Chamber of Commerce Training Center. Designed for new and experienced managers, the Ken Blanchard series will give new leaders the fundamentals of management, and experienced leaders will learn new best techniques to lead and support staff. Make the Chamber Training Center a partner in your business success. Call the Chamber today at 949-8090 or visit caymanchamber.ky for further information.
Since 1993, Rotary Central has worked diligently each year to provide quality bus shelters to our community, a traveling convenience to our school children, the elderly, young people going to work, guest workers, and visitors using the public bus. We, Rotary Central, help you, our advertisers, make it happen. Your marketing dollar travels a far way. Positioning your message, your product, your services, your presence in over 83 bus shelters. Every dollar you spend, every advert you place helps to build another bus shelter, providing modest comfort for Cayman travelers. Reserve space now on the only billboard medium in the Cayman Islands. Email rotaryshelters@gmail.com. rotaryshelters@gmail.com. The Bus Shelters, a partner in community convenience. Another inspiration program by Rotary Central Cayman Islands.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matter. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. It is my pleasure to have in the studio with me this morning Ms. Charmaine Miller, who is the clinical supervisor at the Family Resource Center. Also with us, Ms. Amber Kam, who's the parent facilitator at the Family Resource Center. We're talking about their parenting program and services offered as well. We do have a voice note that we're going to play for our panelists as well. Paul, go right ahead.
OC, good morning. Can you ask the panel at what age it is okay to leave a child unsupervised?
Okay. Ladies?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And In terms of age, though, and leaving a child unsupervised, it's really important to consider your relationship with the child and the maturity level of your child, right? Because we could say a teenager. However, if that teenager is not responsible enough to be left alone, then that becomes concerning, right? I know also that in our interaction and my experience with working with parents, sometimes there are issues around also leaving a child alone, leaving a child at home unsupervised, and having that child take on responsibilities of taking care of their siblings. That is a problem, right? We want to avoid that as much as possible, especially if that teenager is not responsible enough to do that. And at the end of the day, the messaging behind it is also not appropriate because it is not their responsibility to, care for their siblings, right? I know that it's convenient, of course, for many of us, but the reality is that it's not ideal. At the end of the day, they're all children and they need to be, they all need that adequate supervision. Oftentimes what it could lead to is a lot of sibling rivalry, a lot of behavioral issues between both siblings, and it just becomes very much problematic. So the recommendation is paying attention to the child's maturity, and ideally that should be happening within the teenage years. And there needs to be a certain degree of trust between you and that teenager, in that when you're not present, right, they're still able to adhere to the family values and family rules, right? So that is really what's ideal. There's some parents that have done a really good job at making sure that while they're not at home, there are cameras indoors and outdoors for supervision purposes, depending on the neighborhood, and whatever the risk level is. I think there's always opportunities for you to make sure that you're monitoring your child at whatever age, right? So if that means that you're checking in every other hour, or you're coming in for lunchtime, because the day is pretty long when the kids are at home, right? Especially if it's a teenager and whatnot, you want to encourage a lot of that and making sure that you're not gone for long periods of time and there's no communication happening. So just to summarize that, maturity level of the child is really important. We would definitely say within the teenage years, and we would definitely discourage having children taking care of their siblings, because that is really not their responsibility. It ends up just putting, the whole family at risk, really and truly.
Okay. We have about 8 minutes left, so I want to give you an opportunity to cover everything that you or you planned on covering this morning. So let's talk about the important dates, upcoming parenting programs as well.
Absolutely. So we are really excited about rolling out our family program, Stop Now and Plan. That is happening let me go in order. Let's start out with our teen parenting program called Teen Triple P, and that is for parents who are parenting teenagers. We understand the unique challenges of, parenting teens. And like I mentioned earlier when we started off the program, this is a group program, but it can also be offered one-on-one, right? So there are a lot of issues sometimes with whatever teenagers are experiencing that may manifest itself behaviorally at home, and you're feeling kind of like out of tune with what's going on with your teenage child. This is the program for you. Okay. This program is also going to help you manage your child's emotional outbursts, because they're going through a lot emotionally and physically, developmentally overall. So this is a really good program to give you the tools and strategies to enhance your relationship with your child. And that begins on August 10th. Then we have our family transitions group, a very, very well attended group. This is our fourth cohort for the year. Okay. And so, interesting fact, this group fills up very quickly, right? It is a group targeted to parents who have separated, are divorced, or are going through divorce and their journey, right? And so the whole idea of the program is this family is going to look differently. Absolutely. It's not going to be the same family, but at the core of it all is our children, right? And how do we put aside our adult issues to ensure that we are our best selves for the sake of the child? And so that is a program that is extremely very well attended, and we always hear amazing praises from parents that actually go through the program. That is a 8-week program. Teen Triple P is also an 8-week program. Then we have Stop Now and Plan, which starts September 12th. All of our family programs take place in the evenings, and we provide dinner because we know that that's important, right? So it's just we try to minimize as much barriers as possible to ensure that families are able to attend. So for Stop Now and Plan, that is a program that's targeted to children with emotional and behavioral difficulties, right? So they're having a tough time. These are the kids that are generally being labeled as bad at school, right? Or even at home, or even amongst their peers. They might be identified as bullies too, right? And so these kiddos need a lot of training, a lot of support, but not only do they need that, their parents also need that, right? So this is a family program that works with the whole family, whether it's granny, right? Mom, dad, child, siblings, they all come to the program. And so we have capacity for up to 7 families. And we run this, we're meant to be running this program 3 times a year. We actually just did a summer camp that's a spin-off of this program, and we serviced 28 adorable children between the ages of 6 to 11 who had a blast at the end of camp. They were like, we don't want to go. And then there were also really funny questions. They were like, how did you get money for all of this? So kids can be they're very aware, they're very aware of what's going on financially in our country. So that's a really, really good program. I'll definitely say give us a call. The screening process for Stop Now and Plan is very thorough. So the sooner you get in, the better it is for everyone. And so we get a chance to interview the parent, like I said, the whole family, and definitely the child who's experiencing a lot of these issues. Right. There's so many underlying issues to those behaviors. And so we want to move away from asking the question, why are they behaving this way, to actually asking the question, well, what's happening for this child right now? What need is not being met, and how can we support the child, as well as empower our parents to make sure that they can parent confidently? Our last program, we have a lot of other programs, but these are just the core ones. Right. Our Young Parent Services, which I've spoken about with OC before. This is a program that's targeted to young at-risk mothers as early as 13 years old who become pregnant, sometimes unexpectedly, and they need a lot of parenting intervention and support. And so this is a very comprehensive program that, the girls or the parent, it is not only for young girls, it's also for fathers, young fathers. The program could run anywhere between a year to a year and a half, right? So that program begins September 16th.
Okay. Ms. Amber, I want to get you back into the conversation as well and give you an opportunity for some closing comments.
Yep, sure. So we have, like Charmaine said, we have a ton of programs, and if there is ever a need where somebody feels like they could, like I said, add to their parenting toolbox, please don't hesitate to reach out to us, because we also offer other programs. We can offer them individually or even explore maybe over Zoom. We're really trying to utilize technology nowadays with our webinars online. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. Anything else you want to say to our listening audience before you leave in terms of summer and getting back?
Sure. I think, like I mentioned earlier, and Amber also spoke to this a lot, make sure that there's predictability in your day, right? You can't have everything fully structured, of course, but there's some degree of structure in your day. If, you are a working parent from 8:30 to 5, you're leaving home obviously earlier to that, and you're not able to do a lot of exciting stuff during the day, make sure that you make up for it over the weekend, right? Whether that is going to the beach, going for a walk, doing things that are not as costly, but will certainly make the summer enjoyable for your child, and it'll be something to look forward to. You can even make that a really fun incentive reward, right? So if we're able to do all of this, you're able to put in your 20 minutes of reading, like what Amber said earlier on, you get a check mark on your chart for all these things, and you get to choose the activity on Saturday and Sunday of what we're doing. So you can do things in an exciting way without feeling guilty of not being able to provide that Orlando trip or all these other things. There's just so much that we can do here on island, right, in order to make it an enjoyable experience. So make sure that you're consistent, you're predictable, and you're creative in your interaction with your child during the summer.
Excellent. Well, we certainly want to thank you, two ladies, for all that you do, as well as the Family Resource Center. We want to continue to encourage all of you out there. Take advantage of all of the opportunities, all of the services provided. While some of you may be able to afford it to go to private consultants and stuff like that, what the government provides is just as good or sometimes even better as well. And take advantages. Take advantage of those opportunities, as well. It will help to make your family much better. It will help to make the Cayman Islands a better place, and as well as the world a better place for all of us to live in as well. Ladies, have a great day. Please stay safe, and thanks for coming in.
Having us.
Top of the hour, headline news at 9 o'clock. When we return, I have a few government notices that I will advise you of, but the phone lines will be open as well, and you're welcome to call in and to talk with me as well. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back immediately after headline news.
Continuing the Caymanian tradition.
Let Cora keep my ground so clean.
The heart and soul of the Cayman people. Thank you for keeping the culture alive.
There's the news every day. From East End to Georgetown, down into West Bay.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman.
Your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
There were an estimated 884 active cases of COVID-19 in Cayman going into the weekend. This after Public Health reported 199 positive cases of COVID-19 on Friday for the Tuesday through Thursday period last week. Western France is facing a, quote, heat apocalypse as extreme temperatures continue to hit much of Europe. Temperatures could reach record levels in 15 regions of the southwest, with firefighters battling wildfires and thousands forced to evacuate. Blazes in Spain, Portugal, and Greece have forced thousands more to flee. Record temperatures are also expected in parts of the UK, which has its first ever red extreme heat warning in place. And Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has suspended the head of Ukraine's spy agency and the prosecutor general, citing many cases of treason in the two powerful organizations. He said more than 60 former employees were now working against Ukraine in Russian-occupied areas. A total of 651 collaboration and treason cases have been opened against law enforcement officials. The officials Ivan Bakanov and Irina Vinatova have not yet commented. Those are your headlines. I'm Carsley Fuller.
For the latest in news and information,
follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. No guest in the studio now, so we're going to have an open line for you to call in, express yourselves, any questions you may have, any concerns or observations. Please feel free to call in our toll-free number, 1-800-534-8255. You can also call us on 949-8037, 949-6990. Email us at For the Record, one word, For the Record at candw.ky. WhatsApp us 925-3261. And you can leave us a voice note there as well, and we will play that voice note. Also, so this one is from the Health Services Authority. This was actually issued last week, but it actually comes into, it is intended for today's date, which has to do with the location change for today's childhood vaccination clinic. And it says that the childhood vaccination clinic location for today, Monday, the 18th of July, has changed from the ARC, Cayman Bay, to the Family Life Center. The time remains 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. And if you want to find the new schedule, you can go to www.hsa.ky/public health/coronavirus as well. So the childhood vaccination clinic has been moved from the ARC at Cayman Bay today to the Family Resource sorry, the Family Life Center. I'm thinking about the Family Resource Center. Sorry, Family Life Center, and the time is from 5 p.m. until 7 p.m. I believe we have a caller, so let's go to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning. I'm fine. How are you?
Hanging in there. I'm not here to disrespect anyone or to bring down anyone, but I got a WhatsApp this weekend with the governor and the premier and a few other people in the picture, and in regards to the GBLT, and there with their shirts on, saying there's going to be a parade the end of this month. You follow me?
Yeah.
See, I really don't care what anyone want to do with their lives. But, we had this in our community from day one, and it was always a hush-hush and quiet and nobody, making a noise about it, But now that we want to go wide open with it, it really, really makes you wonder what we are becoming in this little island that people say that when they first start coming here, we never had no telephones, we never had no billboards. It was a relaxing, quiet environment. Now if we can't join the rest of the world, it's like we are left out. And I don't think that is really true, that we can be left out because we are not joining the world to do what the rest of the world is doing. Like I said, to each his own, but the fact of the matter is, we got so many other issues in Cayman that needs to be looked into and fixed for our people, that is looking shelter, looking food, looking water. We're not going to have need assessment all the days of our lives. Are the government investing in this GBLT? Like I say, it is their lives. Don't get me wrong. I have nothing against these people. But why do we have to come so broad, open now with the situation? Is it because we are trying to meet with the rest of the world? What are the world doing for Cayman to a degree? Is it that we have to do what they are doing to, let's say, get a piece of the pie for them to fly to the Cayman Islands and inject into our tourism?
So you're saying that the governor and the premier shouldn't be supporting the LGBTQ community? Now, bearing in mind that the premier is there to represent all of the Cayman Islands, the governor shouldn't be showing any partiality when it comes to the inhabitants, the population of the Cayman Islands. Shouldn't be showing any partiality at all. I like I said before, I really don't know how this runs and how the government play and how the governor play, because I never had to experience this until these last couple of years. Now they're trying to bring it full blown here in the island. I don't know how it really runs. That's what I say. I am not here to disrespect anyone or bring down anyone, but I have never experienced this in my days. And now that I'm getting ready to experience it, I am just appalled and wondering what else we're going to go up to make it part of this island, that it was such a God-fearing island, and to see that we are doing everything that the world wants us to become. And also when the coronavirus was first out, Cayman, you say, oh, Cayman don't have no coronavirus. Everybody want to come here, but we never had no flights and things going and coming. You understand? Now we are practically full bloom with the coronavirus, and we not even having meetings to hear what the story is lately. We don't know if the virus is being brought in more since our island has opened up. Some to say the island is not fully open. I don't know how much more we have to open for what is happening right now to our island and our people. Also, like I say, I'm not here to clown nobody down. You understand? No, I understand that. I understand that, yeah.
But the fact of the matter is, Why do we have to do everything the rest of the world is doing? We were so different.
Well, are we doing it because the rest of the world is doing it, or are we doing it simply because there are persons now who are prepared to get out there and express themselves, not to be locked away in a closet and to be treated as being, a pariah or something to be hidden away from? Is it because we have a constitution now that recognizes the rights of everyone?
I can guarantee you, OC, that whatever we have here, I don't really believe that every one of them going to come out of their closet anytime soon. They're fighting, wanting to make Cayman legal with ganja. So, it seems like that will become legal somewhere down the line in the future if the people keep crying out they don't want it legal. You understand? Because everything that somebody want legal for Cayman, they're getting it. So, I guess they'll go in and legalize the ganja somewhere between now and next year if it can be done. I don't know if it can be done or not. But I'm just saying, OC, I mean, sit down for 5 seconds and look at where we're going, and our own few Caymanians that are left here is punishing housewives.
And I understand that. I understand that concern that there are other issues that the public is faced with that needs to be addressed as well. But what about the rights of those persons who feel that they are different, that they're and identify with the LGBTQ community? What about their rights? As long as what they're doing is not in any way infringing upon your right to do whatever it is that you want to do.
See, I know a lot of people will see this in a lot of different shapes and forms, and that's everyone has their own opinion. Don't get me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to just say this and let it go.
Okay.
Apparently, someone put up on Facebook this weekend where 2 people apparently make it out on the beach. And people, talking about it. If these people can make it on the beach in a broad day, they're probably saying, if they can do the gay thing here in Cayman full bloom in the future, well, I guess we can go on the beach and be pleased too. I mean, we just open can of worm after can of worm.
But there's a law against that, whether or not it's a heterosexual couple or same-sex couple. There are laws against nudity, public nudity.
See, I tell you honest God truth. I don't know what is happening, but things is just going crazy here and the rest of the world, and we are just joining in. But I just hope they will look into some more raising people's salary in this $6 an hour for people who cannot afford a house or afford an apartment, and go around and see what people is living in and paying rent, and the place that they pay rent is so run down, and so forth. And I mean, we vote every 4 years to put these people into government, and I can't see what the majority of the people, especially the average, I'm going to say poor people is doing, and go and get a little check from the assessment to get some groceries, but yet the roof is leaking. They got to walk in water, get to their goal, living in these rundown apartments. And it's not a rundown apartment. You can't pay $1,500 or $2,000 for an upscale apartment that you can walk on a dry ground to get into your door. You understand? See? But anyhow, I would leave that there with you. But it's nothing personal towards any of those people who want to do what they want to do. And I have a lot of gay friends, and we get along well, but they're not open and brawl. And I just want to know how brawly they're going to become when all of this is settled, if they have all the right way to do as they please, what their restrictions going to be for our children. And let me tell you something, we're seeing kids now hugging up and kissing up and rubbing up on each other as we go along and I wouldn't say where, but I'm quite sure I have an idea. But anyhow, we'll leave that there.
Okay. Thank you very much, caller, for that as well. To add to that caller's sentiments, this listener has written and said, sad indeed, he has gone overboard with supporting this, totally disproportionate and irrational for a premier of a country with a Christian heritage which is specifically articulated in the preamble of our Constitution. Yes, we need to be tolerant without supporting and promoting an abhorrent lifestyle. Government should stay out of the Pride Parade. They should at least remain neutral considering the thousands of citizens they offend. Say there should be a family values parade created for the same day on the opposite side of 7 Mile Beach. And that is within individuals or groups' right to have their own parades. But again, I will repeat that the Premier has been elected to represent while he may have been some votes may have been cast by particular groups for him, he's there to represent all of the Cayman Islands, and he shouldn't be shunning any particular side. And sometimes, though, there are causes that need a little bit more support, additional support than what is normally given, simply because they have been ostracized by society for so long. And as mentioned about in our preamble to our Constitution about Cayman Islands being a Christian community, and while we see the Privy Council has upheld the Constitution when it comes to the concept of marriage, we still have a Constitution that recognizes the rights of all people in the community as well. We do have a caller on hold. We're going to take a commercial break. When we return, we will take that caller. So please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
We think it's time you crossed over to a new vehicle. And with the Toyota Corolla Cross now at Vant Motors, you have plenty of reasons to make the switch. The crossover body and hybrid engine is a sleek design in a sturdy structure with a spacious interior that opens to extensive cargo space. Stuck in traffic? The high-performance self-charging hybrid system automatically switches between gas and electric vehicle mode, helping you lower both fuel costs and carbon emissions. The Corolla Cross has full LED lighting inside and out, an integrated display audio system with energy monitor, and a dual-zone climate control system to ensure comfort for all. Test drive the new Toyota Corolla Cross Hybrid today at Vant Motors, Walkers Road.
Make your house into a home. Welcome to Brand Source Home Gallery, your source for premium products and a premium experience. We'll design and install your dream kitchen with crafted cabinets, complemented with elegant appliances. We'll fill it with quality houseware and cookware. Custom-designed closet and storage solutions organize and beautify any area. And with the finest bedding, you'll get a perfect night's sleep knowing Brand Source Home Gallery has everything you need to make your house a home.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
Esports in the Cayman Islands just got a major upgrade. That's right, NetGeeks Media is proud to present Gamers Bay 6. This is July 30th to 31st, 2022.
Compete head-to-head for over $10,000 on the PlayStation 5 in titles such as Call of Duty Warzone, Fortnite, and FIFA 2022, utilizing our new gaming monitors.
Additional competitive titles include Smash Bros. Ultimate for the Switch, as well as Naruto Storm 4 for the PS4.
Oh, and did we mention keyboard and mouse can now also be used?
Back and better than ever. It's all going down July 30th to 31st, 2022 at the John Gray Gymnasium.
Meet international YouTube influencers Wendy Girk and Beck Brojack. Let the world see the power of Cayman's competitors.
Visit GamersBayCayman.com to purchase spectator tickets, view schedules and times, purchase competitors' passes, as well as view the rules of each tournament.
Proudly sponsored by
Pepsi, Enterprise Cayman, Department of Tourism, C3 Pure Fiber, Radio Cayman, K Gadgets, Youth Services Unit, Office Supply, Cellular Cayman, Dolphin Discovery, The Matrix, and the Department of Education.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matters. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. No guests in the studio, so we have an open line and people are taking advantage of that as well, and we thank you very much for that. So as a result, we have a caller. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, Ossie, and your esteemed listeners.
Good morning, Billy. Good morning. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Well, first of all, let me begin by saying it was so lovely to hear Mr. Arden McLean on your program, you know.
Yes.
We haven't heard from him for some time. Always good to hear from him. The next thing, Ossie, I must thank you for properly understanding what I said about the Honorable Speaker, Mr. Bush, on Friday, but I just thought that I should confirm this on air, you know, so that you can also be sure that you heard me right.
Sure.
What basically I was saying was that there is no violation of any ethics of any kind by merely owning a business, whether it is past or present. So I was just really defending the speaker and making a distinction with the other case that we were discussing last week. I hope that the speaker will graciously accept this reiteration through this medium. Although I have his number, I probably can reach him as well. Okay, now let me pick up the thread, OC, on you had the program last week where you spoke about the advisory district councils.
Yes.
And I think you were very thorough. I mean, ultimately, you rightly observed that, look, there is no political ombudsman who can pursue these things and ensure that they are done. And I just thought, just to add one more little thing, you're so right about that, because even from the legal side, the Commonwealth courts in England, in Australia, New Zealand, everywhere, they have held that if you don't bring an act into force, that is not a thing that the court can ever interfere in. They consider that the sanction for that is political. Mm-hmm. And that is what it really makes the problem really difficult, because you've got no political sanction really, and you don't have a legal sanction either. And you know what? It's interesting to recall or see that this act, Advisory District Councils, was passed in 2011. This is 11 years after, and it hasn't come into force. And when I went to the website, I noticed actually there is a total of about 11 acts of parliament which have never come into force.
Yes.
And one of them, the oldest one, is the Pharmacy Act of 1991. And then you have the Residential Tenancies 2009, you have the Sunday Trading Amendment Act 2016, and so on. And I always wonder how the Auditor General treats these cases, because technically it means that money has been spent to draft these laws, okay? And if they are not brought into force, how does that figure into her report? Is this considered to be good value for money? Is it a waste? I've always just been interested in that. But the main reason for calling is to try and see if I can offer some possible solutions in future to avoid acts staying in limbo. Mm-hmm. Now, from the legal side, from the legal side, the problem is this: there is a general practice in the Cayman Islands to say that when an act of parliament is passed, the power is left to cabinet to issue an order to bring it into force. Mm. Okay, and that is the general practice. And that's exactly where the origin of the problem is. In other countries, there are three possible options that you could use. One, in some countries, they insist that whenever you pass an act of parliament, you must come there with a date when it is expected to come into force.
Okay.
And then that date is put in the law. If when that date is approaching, you can't bring it into force, then you go back to Parliament and ask for the date to be extended. If you want a provision which says that the Cabinet will bring it into force, you must make a special case as to why you can't provide a date in that particular case. That is one option. The second option, some countries, what they do is they provide to say, look, if an act has not been brought into force by the end of 1 year, then automatically it comes into force on the anniversary of its passing. Again, if that date is approaching and you find that actually you are not ready, then you go back to Parliament. Then you ask for an extension. Then there's a debate. Then the third option, you can also just say, well, look, every year, and they do that in Ontario actually, every year the Attorney General must go to Parliament and indicate which acts have not come into force and explain why they have not come into force. So you can imagine, like with this advisory district councils, the Attorney General would have been required to go to Parliament 11 times to explain why it hasn't come into force.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been a sanction. So these are the three possibilities. I know the Speaker, like some people have said, well, why don't you do anything about it? If I can just offer, I know the Speaker has got a legal advisor, a very good gentleman there who I know. But if he wants to speak to me or through the Speaker to assist him to be able to just give him some ideas on the mechanics of doing any of these, depending on his options,
Mm-hmm.
I am available. I will not send him a bill. I am available just to chat with him and assist. Well, that's what I thought I should contribute on the advisory district councils. I think if one of those things OC is done, we will avoid this thing where laws stay on the books for a long time without coming into force.
Okay, before you go, Billy,
sure.
I'd like you to explain to our audience. You talk about a bill coming into force. I'd like you to explain how does the governor's assent to a bill come into play? How does that make us different from other jurisdictions, and how does that play into the options that you have, put forward?
The first answer to that is I should read my little book on the legislative process in the Cayman Islands.
Yes.
It's all there.
Yeah.
But since you've asked me, the way it works is like this. Once the bill is passed, you know this, but for the audience,
mm-hmm.
once the bill is passed by the Legislative Assembly, there is a little procedure where it goes back to legislative drafting. We make sure we do the final copy, and then the clerk and the speaker sign it
Mm-hmm.
to say that this is the text is passed. Then it is passed again through the AG right up to the governor, and then the governor assents to it.
Mm-hmm.
But the assent doesn't bring it into force.
Okay, right, yeah.
It doesn't bring it into force. It means that it has gone through the legislative process. It's done,
Mm-hmm.
and then after that, there is a requirement that it should be published in the Gazette.
Right.
So then it is published in the Gazette. But even the publication in the Gazette does not necessarily bring it into force. But here's where the explanation is. If the law says that it will come into force when the order is done by Cabinet, bringing it into force, then you wait for that order.
Mm-hmm.
So in other words, the law can be published. It can be published today, but maybe the order will only come maybe 6 months after, and that's when it will come into force. But there is a default position. Let us imagine that the law is passed, but it doesn't stay when it comes into force. And that is actually very common with amendment laws.
Mm-hmm.
Normally, they don't have a commencement provision. If that is the case, then it will come into force when it is published in the Gazette.
Right.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Now, you see, this actually, it's good you asked this question. This issue arose, for example, in the Australian state of Victoria. They said, well, how can you keep telling us that if we read the law and we say when does it come into force, it doesn't tell us when it comes into force. And then you tell us, oh, but there's a divorce provision in some other law which says it comes into force when it is published. So in the state of Victoria, what they do is that there is a note in every law which says how the law comes into force. They'll say, well, since this law does not say when it comes into force, and it does not say that an order will be issued by the cabinet, it will come into force on the publication on the Gazette, so that there is a note on each law which actually says that.
Got you.
So, but we don't do that in Cayman, but I think those are some of the things which can be looked at.
Got you. Billy, I want to thank you. Thank you very much, for that as well. Folks, we're going to take a commercial break. When we return, if we have other callers, we will take those calls. If not, I will share with you something that happened in our Legislative Assembly in 1979. And what we did then was we treated visitors a little differently than we treated our residents and citizens of the Cayman Islands or the colonies, because we changed the bail terms for visitors and we eased those bail terms for visitors as opposed to those residing in the Cayman Islands. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. No one can stop me when I taste the feel. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
Hi, I'm remodeling our bathroom. I have a few questions.
Sure.
What are some ideas to make my bathroom feel larger? How do I know if I'm picking the right vanity? How do I choose a new toilet or a new countertop? Also, the lighting is terrible. Can I put a window or a skylight? And do I really need an exhaust fan?
You've come to the right place. At Brand Source, we custom design kitchen and baths, and our talented design team can help answer your questions. Whether you're looking for a modern, functional family bathroom or a luxurious personal retreat, we'll help create that beautiful space that makes your home yours. And if you're in a rush for a new look and have a limited budget, our ready-to-install bathroom vanities built with solid wood and countertops of the finest materials are a quick and easy remodeling solution.
For the very best in custom-designed kitchens and baths, visit Brand Source Home Gallery on Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park, Cayman's Kitchen and Bath Center.
Ransomware, DDoS, malware, phishing. If you don't know what those mean, you're not alone. But if you aren't protected against those cybersecurity attacks, then your business is at risk. Don't leave your data or your business vulnerable. Get Digicel Business Protect. Simpler, smarter cybersecurity. Visit our website, www.digicelbusiness.com, to request a callback or call us now on 623-2499.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matter. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. No guests in the studio, so we have an open line for you to call in. One of our listeners has written in and said hello. Again, in view of the spread of the COVID-19 virus new subvariant, I strongly suggest that people wear proper face masks covering the mouth and nose, as well as voluntarily observing social distancing. Also, using proper hygiene practices such as sanitizing and hand washing. Finally, continue to confront this invisible enemy by keeping our immune systems strong with natural and pharmaceutical remedies. Do not let our guards down, please. This new subvariant is rampant in the U.S. and in Europe. And there are some who believe in the Cayman Islands that other than the reports that we're receiving in relation to the number of COVID cases that the COVID-19 fight, it has been put on autopilot. It has been put on autopilot to steer itself, because we no longer hear public officials, either elected or otherwise, talking about it, cautioning our population about it. Is it because they simply don't want to take the unpopular stance that is required, whatever that stance may be? Is it because their advisors have said to them, the less you say, the better it is for your political career? What is it? We have been left on autopilot as far as dealing with coronavirus. We have potential super spreader events taking place. Some people would refer to one that took place over the weekend as a possible super spreader as well. Yet we hear little directly from officials. Folks, this writer has said, we cannot afford to let our guards down. We have to continue to confront this. There are still people who are hospitalized. There are entities, private and public, that are affected by the spread of COVID-19. And while it may not be as, I won't use the word deadly, but while it may not be as strong as the original coronavirus, it is still, depending on your immune system and everything else, it may affect some persons differently than others. But, like I said, and these are my words, we have been put on autopilot to deal with coronavirus ourselves at this point in time, because we hear little or nothing from public officials. And I'll leave it at that for now and share with you how in the 1970s, late 1970s, we crafted our legislation. Some people complain and say, we always look after others before we look at ourselves. We have seen situations in the past where persons arriving at our ports of entry are found with contraband items. And of course, in many instances, the reasons given, I packed in such a hurry, I didn't realize that this was in my luggage. In the states where I come from, it is legal, and I didn't know it was. So very hurriedly, our officials get them down to the courts, get an expedited case heard, and similar residents coming in have to go through a different experience. Or if we go to the United States and we found in breach of their law, I'm not sure, how expedited or court cases are held over there. So the Northwestern newspaper in July of 1979 noted that bail term for visitors, the terms were eased. It says a bill to amend bail requirements of the Criminal Procedure Code presented by Attorney General. At that time, the Attorney General was a gentleman by the name of David Barwick. But it received opposition from you-know-who, Miss Annie Borden, and also Captain Keith Tibbetts. They opposed it. The Attorney General said that the measure was necessary to enable courts to accept valuable articles as well as cash in lieu of sureties for bail, especially in the case of a visitor who knew no one or who could stand surety. It also empowered the courts to impose precise conditions when granting bail. That's what he said. Mr. Truman Borden, who was a member of the Legislative Assembly at that time, gave the measure support. He said he believed that taking away visitors' travel documents would solve the problem of such people leaving the islands before the date set for a hearing, given kind in lieu of cash, would help in restricting flight from the law. He added, such a measure would also give the defendant right to liberty while awaiting trial. Credit cards too. Captain Tibbetts objected and raised two questions on the issue. In the case of Kine, how would the value of the article offered be determined? They should have some system of evaluation set up before adopting such a measure, was what Captain Keith Tibbetts said. Would they also be prepared to accept credit cards, he added. Seizure of travel documents could lead to very embarrassing situations for the accused, he said, especially if he could not return to his job or business commitments at the time. Mr. Craddock also said he could understand the reasons for the amendment, but they shouldn't do things haphazardly. Mr. Haig Borden said that although kind was not defined in law, he assumed it meant anything of value, land, etc. And wanted to see what others they talk about fear of, people using fake jewelry and everything else. But folks, this looks like in 1979, certainly the introduction of new bail requirements, but it was basically prompted by our concerns for visitors, not necessarily concern for the populace and the inhabitants of the Cayman Islands. We do have a caller. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record. Good morning, caller. Welcome to For the Record. No one there, Paul? That's okay. We have other stuff we can share with you. Some feel-good news, good feeling news as well. This was a release issued by government recently. Election supervisor observes Jersey vote. We have had election observers here in the Cayman Islands, so we know what that is. But certainly the confidence in our electoral system and the capability of our elections officials, no doubt would have prompted this selection to observe the Jersey vote. And the release says the Cayman Islands election supervisor, Mr. Wesley Howell, recently took part in an international election observation mission to the states of Jersey. Mr. Howell formed part of a 9-member independent observer mission that included representatives from Kenya, France, and the Isle of Man. Organized by the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association, British Islands and Mediterranean Region Secretariat, the mission was headed by Martin Whitfield, member of the Scottish Parliament. Throughout the elections process, members of the mission met with stakeholders, including officials, candidates, and members of the public. Areas of the process under scrutiny included political campaigning, electoral administration, voter registration and accessibility, polling, including postal and early ballots, counting and tabulation, post-election complaints and appeals. Commenting on the experience, Supervisor Howell is quoted as saying, "I am very pleased to have been invited to serve as an observer. It has enhanced my knowledge of the democratic process, election legislation, policies and practices in other countries. I see definite benefits to elections officials serving on these missions." And if you want more information about the Cayman Islands Election Office, you can visit www.elections.ky for more information as well. Folks, we're going to take our last commercial break. When we return, the conversation will continue. So please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
JN Money, money touchdown. Send the money now, reach wow. You say you need some money, JN Money, I can send it in a hurry. Get through quick when you come collect your cash, or use a money card and swipe it in a flash. Send funds to any bank, yeah. Pay your bills quick, yeah. Low fees, you know what it, yeah. JN Money, we are pick, yeah. Send and receive funds at any JN Money location. It's fast, affordable, and convenient. Money touchdown with JN Money. Send funds to any bank, yeah. Pay your bills quick, yeah. Low fees, you know what it, yeah. JN Money, we are pick, yeah.
Call 345-945-2014 for details. Available at JN Money locations across the Cayman Islands.
Tune in every Monday through Friday at 12 p.m. for Radio Cayman's Midday Newscast. Radio Cayman, the People's Station, your trusted official source for the latest news. The 12 p.m. news is proudly brought to you by Health City Cayman Islands. World-class healthcare within your reach.
Your Radio Cayman 6 p.m. news, Monday through Friday, is brought to you by Logic. Your life connected.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matter. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We're on the last leg of the show this morning. Phone lines are open and they will remain open until about 5 minutes to 10 o'clock to give me an opportunity for some closing comments as well. We do have a caller. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Yes, sir. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. How art thou?
I am well, and I didn't mean to hang up on people, but, you know.
That's okay. That's okay.
Anyway,
as long as you call back, it's okay.
Earlier on, you gave us some information on COVID, you know, blah, 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 blah. And you went into the kind of, I call it little COVID treasure box, where you take out the same treasures, you know, masks, hand sanitize, so on and so forth. And what my call was really about was, is that some new government information?
No, that was actually one of our listeners sharing that information and their advice, really. Like I said, we've been put on autopilot as far as battling COVID. My view is that we've been put on autopilot as far as battling it is concerned. We do get the figures talking about, you know, what the average daily rate is and things of that nature, but we don't get any public officials coming on to the talk shows and talking about all of the necessary precautions that we still have to take in light of the changes that have been made to the regulations.
Well, first of all, let me say, you know, you and I speak now and then, and, you know, we always talk about this. Why aren't we just doing the same avoidance techniques and, you know, just getting that down? If you're far enough away, you know, the science says you're kind of out of danger to a certain extent. If, you know, just the basics. And I don't know why we stopped that. But you know what I believe, speaking about the government, well, everybody knows that Sir Alden, morning, sir, is my favorite drug czar's COVID, you know. He said, we're going to drive it to the ground. And, you know, you don't need to speak to me in nautical terms, and you got my attention already. So, you know, I just like how Alden handled the whole thing. I'll always be grateful. But we're talking about
now, today.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if the government even wants to engage with us, whether it's an avoidance technique or what. But it is everybody is beating up on everybody from the government who has word one to say that we, the general public, no training, no education, no experience in medical science, but we spew every day and why you can't do this and why you can't do that, you can still get it anyway. I think that I believe that these people believe that when they ascend to the public arena, with our franchise, that they are no longer normal human beings. But at the end of the day, we know that they are. And we just whip them from east to west, north and south. We just whip them. I mean, it's everybody. So sometimes I think if they can avoid having anything to say to us, they just do. And the rest of us then are left without the knowledge that we so crave, basically the knowledge that we so crave to make just common decisions.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But I think that's generated from the general public. We just can't give the government and the health professionals an opportunity to do what they maybe really, really, really want to do. We kill them. We crucify them every day, every time. And I can see why they sometimes slip and hide away from us. But, I mean, maybe we know that's not what they should do,
mm-hmm,
but
mm-hmm.
they're all human beings too. So, the easiest way out sometimes, just like that. Because when you got, for instance, when you got the head of the Tourism Association or whatever whipping the government like they were slaves, every opportunity that is afforded and accorded to the good person, the government seems like they can't turn to the ordinary people because we're biting them at the heels. And, people on their platform, they're what you would call colleagues to a certain extent. Mm. They're doing the same thing. Where does the government go? Where does the health ministry go? What do they do? Sometimes I understand them, even though I would like the information too. And yes, I still wear my mask. People say to me, well, you're not going to wear masks no more. Yes, I do. I take care of my mother.
Yeah, you may have to wear it more so now than in the past because so many other persons are not doing that.
Exactly. I thought that I had. But I take care of my mother. And they suspended the sanitizing by the door. I can see that as being a cost factor maybe. But I go Foster's often. But in Foster's, they still have the wipes available. You can do your own,
mm-hmm.
your own
mm-hmm.
thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they still have this sanitizer on the wall type thing too. So when you walk in, at least Foster's in Georgetown, you still have the opportunity to sanitize. And I think we should all sanitize. And I continue to wear my mask. And I don't leave the yard to go any place that I don't really have to go because by all accounts, by the World Health Organization, we're not free of this yet. And if you're listening or if you consume any international news, you'll see where they're talking about other variants
mm-hmm.
and blah, 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 blah. So I don't know why it is that we're not masking, but maybe the government is just sick and tired of being whipped mercilessly. Anyhow, have a nice day, sir.
Thank you very much for that. Well articulated, okay, and well thought out as well. Okay, one of our listeners brought this up, and I'm going to share with you what has happened in Bermuda in relation to same-sex marriages and its validation. As you may be aware, Paul, we're going to close the phone lines off now as well. As you may be aware, the Bermuda had, while the cases were different, the results basically, were the same, which invalidated same-sex marriages in Bermuda and in the Cayman Islands as well. In the case of Cayman, after the rulings, the Chief Justice's ruling and the Court of Appeals, I believe that there was an agreement between the applicants and the government that they would not take any action until the Privy Council's decision was arrived at. So we didn't find ourselves in a situation where the law actually came into effect, like in Bermuda, where it actually came into effect and same-sex marriages took place. And after the Privy Council's ruling, there was this question as to what would happen to those, what would become of those marriages that took place while the law was in place. And now that the law had been nullified, what would happen to those persons who got married in the interim? So the Bermuda Parliament has dealt with that, and here's the results of the result of what has happened in there. And this is an article from the Royal Gazette. Now, I know people would say, no, why is he bringing this up again? Why is he talking about this? Folks, there are individuals in the Cayman Islands or who belong to the Cayman Islands, Caymanians, who are no longer here simply because they were forced to go to another jurisdiction in order for them to enjoy the lifestyle that they want to enjoy. They have been exiled, forced into exile as a result of that. That is extremely, extremely important, the mere fact that has occurred. So that's why I continue to hammer this home, because while some of us as Caymanians may have our position on it, we should not ever use the position that we take on a particular issue to victimize those persons who find themselves on the other side of the fence with a different viewpoint or a different lifestyle as well. We should never, ever do that. So here's what happened. Same-sex couples who tied the knot before the landmark Privy Council ruling outlawed gay unions are valid under the new law. So in Bermuda, the Domestic Partnerships Amendment Act, which was passed by members of Parliament in their House of Assembly on Friday, extended the transitional period during which same-sex marriages could be carried out. The Deputy Premier and Minister for Home Affairs said the bill would validate the marriages in light of a ruling handed down by the island's highest court of appeal in March. Privy Council judges at the time found that the Domestic Partnership Act, which confined marriage to between a man and a woman, was not unconstitutional. The verdict means that couples who had married during a period when the weddings were allowed were in a state of limbo. On Friday, Mr. Robin sought to clarify the law. He's quoted as saying, the bill seeks to amend the transitional period under Section 54 of the Domestic Partnership Act 2018 to March 14, 2022 to confirm the validity of same-sex marriages formalized according to the laws of Bermuda prior to the date of the Privy Council judgment. And secondly, to recognize certain same-sex marriages formalized overseas during the extended transitional period. Mr. Ruban said the law as it had stood meant that same-sex marriages were void. The minister said the bill also allowed for a transitional period when certain same-sex marriages entered into on the island or on Bermuda registered ships would be valid, and before or during which certain overseas same-sex marriages could be recognized on the island. So basically what they did was that void that was there, that has been covered as well. Folks, I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman and by extension For the Record into your homes, into your vehicles as you traverse the busy roads of the Cayman Islands, into your places of work, wherever that may be. I also want to remind you that we are our brothers and our sisters' keepers. There is always someone out there who's less fortunate than we are, and I ask you to extend a helping hand to them. If you can't do that, then I suggest you donate to a worthy charity, because we always want to consider those who need, not necessarily those who want or even those who crave. So I say to you, have a great day. Continue to support your radio station, Radio Cayman. Join Sterling Dwayne Banks at 12:15 for Talk Today. And as usual, we ask the good Lord to bless these three beautiful, wonderful Cayman Islands.
For the Record is brought to you by Vamped Motors, the only authorized Ford and Toyota dealership serving the Cayman Islands. Coca-Cola, available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga Distributors. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury. West Bay Pharmacy, taking care of your health. And JN Money. From abroad to yard. Fast, affordable, convenient. Doctors Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors